r/adulting. Remarkable Aggressary 308 says, when I'm mad at my so, he gets cheesed. Mature? Meh, not really. Included photo. My today throwaway says, how are there no comments here? I love this. Guess I need to grow up. Uncle Beauty says, my so just talks to me. Apparently not very r/adulting of her. Katie Dubs says, mature? Now looks more like cheddar. Sim1fin2 says, okay, hear me out, American cheese and some other cheeses with take the paint finish off a car. Found out from a prank in high school that ended being super expensive. So keep it in the windows only, and no cheese whiz, that was the worst part. Bazwakakntpspepk says, he's not doing Gouda enough. Tashira Baloney says, that's no Gouda. Wild Onion 5979 says, cool, I've got a snack. Demars says, mature? No, it's Pepper Jack. And P.S. I don't know my cheeses well, so it most likely isn't Pepper Jack. Dill Entertainment 587 says, it's better than just becoming non-communicative. Farprince 7864 says, haha, really cool, I'd eat the cheese before you if I were the so. Vulcan's Hammer says, wasting perfectly good cheese in this economy. Magnificent One says, I need to know the story behind getting cheesed. Ilf Queen Len says, relationship goals. Quacksmith says, just don't use bologna in the summertime on the paint. Nanro 756 says, I love this. r/adulting. Moon and Loneliness says, staying busy while single? Hey everyone, need your insights on something. So, for most of my adult life, I've been in long-term relationships. After my recent breakup, I've decided to embrace the single life for a while. I've gotten so used to having someone around for Netflix, running errands, you name it. I'm curious, how do you single ladies usually spend your time? How often do you go out with friends? Do you prefer solo adventures? What do you do on your evenings or weekends? And how much of that time is spent alone versus with friends or family? I know it might be a bit nosy, but it's something I'm genuinely trying to figure out for myself. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what works for you. Thanks in advance. Dual Monitor 6920 says, hit the gym. Almoni Kamito JT says, as a single woman, I find that mixing things up is key. I do enjoy some solo time, whether it's binge watching a favorite series, reading, or just chilling. It's precious me time. But I also make sure to balance it with socializing. I try to catch up with friends regularly, whether for a coffee, dinner, or a fun outing. It keeps the social vibes alive. Solo adventures are also on my radar. It could be a weekend getaway, trying out a new hobby, or even just exploring the city. Evenings and weekends are a mix of everything. Sometimes it's a cozy night in, other times it's a spontaneous outing with friends. Flexibility is the name of the game. And yeah, family time is sprinkled in too, especially when I want some comfort and connection. Hopkins Stefax says, I spend so much time by myself. Going to coffee shops, decluttering my room, trying to read, learning how to cook. I'm watching a show next week too. The possibilities are endless. I'm also spending time alone to learn how to be alone, since I was always in relationships, or lived with someone. I do try to make friends though, but I have a lot of inner work to do, so I'm not rushing on that. But frick, Ka says, alcohol and video games. Hannah Brown says, I volunteer at a food bank. Katika Twombat says, I'm not single and haven't been single my entire adult life, have been in a relationship since I was 18. But that has also meant that both partner and I enjoy a lot of our time apart because we work opposite hours during the week and also have very different hobbies. It means that every weekday evening and weekend mornings are spent alone because my partner is either working or asleep. My life outside of the relationship takes up a lot of time, which I do without him. For example, I volunteer a lot, on average once a fortnight. This past Tuesday and next Tuesday, I'm cooking for 120 people for a community dinner. That takes up about 4 hours after work and tires me out by the end of it. It's a good opportunity to catch up with one group of friends as well. I used to do other volunteering, including mentoring, teaching the elderly tech skills, being admin for several charity organizations, etc. Another form of volunteering is through my passion for the environment. At some point through the year, I would have been involved in a community garden, food growing co-op, bush regeneration/landcare, gardening events, and a monthly produce bartering, where I swap any plants, produce, foods, etc. For other things, ends up taking a whole day to organize for a 2-hour monthly meetup. I've been asked to sit on several committees and boards for community environmental groups, but I'm just too busy at this point. I'm already an executive of a group I founded in 2019, and that already requires me on the computer at 10 PM organizing events, sending outcomes, social media, etc. Once a month I donate plasma at my blood donation center. It takes about 1 hour to donate, and another 30-45 minutes chilling out and having snack. I use the opportunity to talk to the workers there, some of whom knows me. I catch up with my high school friends. Ideally I would like to do that more of that, but we are all so busy. Usually a dinner on a weeknight or Saturday night. Partner has his own group of friends that he hangs out with. I watch TV shows I'm into, play with my cat. I also am trying to start a vegetable garden. I'm raising quails and hope to incubate some soon. Cooking is a big passion of mine and I like to make stuff from scratch. So I have my kombucha set up, making kimchi, maybe starting sourdough soon, etc. I often bake and gift to elderly neighbors as well. I have a stamp collection, a coin collection, a pop album collection. They don't cost much because I either get them for free or a very low price, second hand. I also have a budget on them. Once a year I like to travel. Partner doesn't like traveling, so I'm doing it solo or with my family. Once a year, I also go on a meditation retreat to clear my head and de-stress, given how busy my life is. To reiterate, partner and I don't have any common interest aside from the occasional eating out, so we do a lot of our activities separately, sometimes sitting next to each other, like I watch my TV shows on my laptop and he plays games on the TV. The above doesn't even encompass the things I do with my partner, which is mostly running errands, catching up with some mutual friends, and every few months visit his parents who live far away. Muji Warad says, Imbadman. r/adulting. Absinthe Sizer says, what did you have to accept about your adult life? Acceptance can be anything. Maybe you never had children, or don't have the ability. You accepted you'll only cap at a certain salary. You realize you're stuck with children and a spouse and never had time to develop yourself, etc. Noeb4986 says, I've accepted that I'm nothing special, even though I'm told I'm very good at my hobbies. There is nothing more depressing than realizing you are just like everyone else and are nothing but a cog in a giant machine. Legal Living 8546 says, I accept that I should mind my own business and do not give a frick at all. Nobody cares. Adventurous in the World says, losing a parent. Accomplished Iron 914 says, No guidance, no script, no one has all the answers, and oftentimes there's nothing anyone can do to help, even if they wanted to. Tasty Tomatolo 9670 says that I have to be responsible for my own future. Blaming anyone doesn't help. I have to be the change. Thriving and Striving says there are some days where I really don't want to be at work, but money is much needed. Nerdindant says despite a few bumps in my life, I'm very lucky. Most people have it worse than me. Jack Fair says I have a comfortable niche job that allows me to spend most of my work hours reading. I could go back to school and finish my schoolwork during work hours, bust my ass, and get a degree. At best that puts me getting a college degree while in my late 40s. I would then have to hope that I could convince someone to hire me for a better paying job at almost 50. A job that would pay enough to clear my student loans and give me money for retirement while working a lot more than I currently do, and probably for a lot more hours. Or I can accept that this will likely be my job for the rest of my life and find ways to make it work for me. Midden71 says you gotta fix everything yourself. Can't rely on people to help you or guide the way. Medihooking a Sandwich says that everyone's got a different path to tread on their own. You can be given all the advice in the world and recommended to do a plethora of things by every other adult in your life, but at the end of the day it's still your own path to walk. What works for them won't necessarily work for you. That's for you to figure out. For better and for worse. Najini 11111 says uncertainty. As much as it bugs me, as much as I try to avoid it, control it, mold it into something concrete, fear it, fight it, it will always be the most fundamental part of life, and I've devoted some serious time and mental energy to accept it. Crack Bandicoot says watching family, pets, and friends age is so scary and depressing. Farprince 7864 says accepted that I'm not special and never was. Waterdude 84 says that life isn't always fair and adults are just older high school kids. CWSJR 2323 says I'm an okay worker, nothing special, and had no interest in any particular job, so I just did lots of job hopping and short-term gigs for experiences. I realized early my limitations and adjusted. Now retired, I enjoy my memories. Life is good. Banju BE says responsibility to step up when others don't. To hold myself accountable to my own word, even if I don't necessarily want to. Waiting Foremost says that a career in the NFL wasn't going to happen. On track to be a very high draft pick and bam, blew out my knee. Over. Done. Really sucked at the time. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.